Hi there, saints. I pray you're all doing well. I pray the Most High continues to bless you, guide you, and protect you and your beautiful loved ones in your going out and your coming in. Amen. If you are seeing me for the first time, I am Sister Nastasia Grace, and I hope you join the Grace family, because over here it's straight truth, straight exposure, and we focus on what we can do to ensure not only ourselves are saved as believers, but also the great mandate that we have to win souls for the kingdom of Christ. Amen. So I pray you stay blessed. I pray you press that subscribe button to join the Grace family. We are happy to have you here. All right, so this is the third episode in the Undocumented, the series, and I am really blown away by this one, because this basically changes the game. This lets us know point blank period what they are doing, and that we are really heading towards the mark of the beast. Right? Listen, I have to stick with Revelation 13. You have to stick with Revelation 13. What the word says is what the word says. Amen. Yes, so in the Matrix, do you remember when Neo the One, he did not know Kung Fu and other different things, and what happened? It was downloaded into his brain, and then he knew all of that. Just downloaded straight into his consciousness, and he knew everything after that. I want you all to watch this video and see what's really going on, and see why they are setting the playing field with the snake bites and everything, why they're putting the fluoride in our toothpaste and our water, because those things shut down the pineal gland in the brain. It shuts it down, right? So watch this. This is gonna blow your mind. I love that I'm doing this series, because so many people do not know these type of just things that they're doing, and even this information in your thought. People are just still living their lives eating and drinking. But watch this video. And thank you for my subscriber that sent it to me. I think somebody else on this platform has exposed this video. Thank you to everybody. Watch this video and wait for the commentary.
Right now, scientists in laboratories around the world are developing brain chips. Now, these are chips that can be inserted into the brain, and they are wireless. And that brain chip can restore your quality of life. Would you hesitate to get the chip? No, of course not. You would say, put the chip in my brain. Put the chip in my brain.
Put the chip in my brain.
So that is starting right now, these experiments. And even more interesting, scientists have done experiments with rats, and they have chips in the rat's brain. And what they did was they taught a rat how to do certain things. And when the rat did all these complex things, it could get food. Now, it took the rat weeks to learn that. Weeks. But then they hooked the rat's brain chip to the internet. And they had another rat in another city. And instantly they connected those two rats' brains. And do you know what happened? The other rat knew how to get the food right away. It didn't have to learn anything. The knowledge was transferred from one brain of a living animal to another brain. That is amazing. That opens up a world of possibilities. Because if they can do that in rats today, imagine 10 years from now what they can do in humans. And we will go there. So, mind-to-mind communication. This is something of science fiction that we all read about. But this is actually possible today, as I just showed you. So there will come a point where if we have a chip in our brain, and you out there have a chip in your brain, we can communicate. We can communicate without talking. We can communicate when you're halfway around the world. And we can exchange knowledge. So, if you look at a world where we have these chips that are connected to the internet, all of a sudden, every piece of information on the internet becomes accessible to our minds. Now, when we look back at today and we have to go to Baidu or Google and type it in, that will seem so primitive. Nobody will do that. You will just think, what knowledge do I need? And it will appear there for you to use. But it gets even weirder, stranger. Because we will not only be able to transfer knowledge, but we will be able to transfer memories. Now, so you could have an experience like skydiving, and all of a sudden you could transfer that experience to a friend, and all of a sudden they have experienced what you have experienced. It gets even weirder, because we will be living our lives as our lives. We know our lives and our memories, but you will all of a sudden have access to anybody's life who wants to make it available to you. People will open source their lives so others can download pieces of their lives and experience those things. That will be really strange. We won't know the difference between our own memory and a memory we acquired from someone else. Think about that. It gets even stranger. So, all of us are here learning at SEEBS, right? Getting EMBAs and MBAs. Well, this will be obsolete because SEEBS will literally be in the cloud. And you will just download from all the best minds in the world whatever you need to know when you need to know it. Our brains we will no longer have universities as we have them today. That will change. Information will be on demand. Information will be commoditized. Knowledge will be commoditized. All of us will be smarter, have infinite amounts of storage, and infinite access to information. It will be unheard of. We will no longer be this isolated human being. We will be connected to everything. We will be connected to everything.
To everything.
So, you can imagine not only will we be able to get knowledge, but we can actually have full experiences in our head. So right now we have these clunky VR units that we have to put on. But in the future, you can just download a whole environment and actually live in it. And all of you might think, this is not real. But do you know every night when you dream, those dreams are real. No matter how fantastic your dreams are, they are real. You feel like you're really there. Our brains have that capability already built in. All it takes is the technology to stimulate and transfer the right images in our brain so our brain creates them, and then we will live like the difference between us dreaming and reality will be blurred. We will be spending a lot of time outside our bodies. So, think about this. You, as a human being right now, are trapped in this body. But once you are connected to the internet, you are no longer trapped in your body. You can actually be anywhere at any time that any other person or any other device is getting sensory information. So there could be a robot on Mars, and you could literally tap into the robot on Mars, and it would be like you're on Mars. It could totally recreate the experience, including the sensations, the physical sensations, like everything of you being on Mars. You can live through other people. Your favorite pop star, your favorite scientist. You could be in Elon Musk's head right now, walking around doing what he's doing, if Elon Musk allowed you to do that. It gets so strange because our senses now, we have our 5 senses of our body. But suddenly, if we are connected to a world of intelligent machines and intelligent sensors all over, we will no longer have 5 senses. We will have access to hundreds of sensory input. Infrared, right? All these UV, all these different types of senses that we never even experienced before. It will radically change how we perceive existence. So if you start to go down this path, you see we won't even be, our life today will be totally alien to us. We will be living in a whole nother reality that is blending information, sensory information, data information, memories, all of this from all around the world in this vast internet. And that will and can happen. So let's go even further. Experiencing other lives. So all of us experience things in our life. But now we will be able to have many lives. You can have many lives because you can access other people in other places and live through them. And if you want to think about this, it can be almost like heaven. Why do I say this? Because if you study every major religion in the world, every religion, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, what those religions promise us is that we will escape our bodies in the future. We will go to some heaven or nirvana or a state of non-being or a state of inclusiveness with everybody. No longer will we and our consciousness be confined to our bodies as an individual. In fact, if you look at us right now as a human being, if I feel pain, if I'm in pain, nobody else can feel the pain I feel. If you're in pain, I can't feel your pain. I can feel sorry for you. I can empathize with you, but I cannot feel your pain. But in this world, we will actually be able to feel the emotions of other people. You can actually not just transfer data and sensory information, but emotions. I would know your pain, you would know our pain, and human beings would never be alone. So, we will come to a point where we, as gods, like gods, will be creating our own reality. We will be redefining what the human experience is for the first time in history. This can happen, and it will happen, but what we want to think about is this. Technology is really powerful. The internet, being connected, is really powerful. But we've already seen, in a very primitive way, just with our cell phones, these primitive devices, how it can totally change our life. Like all of our lives are changed by WeChat. All of our lives are changed by the internet. Well, we are embarking on a path now where we will become the internet. The internet will become us. They will be inseparable. We'll have our storage and everything else all over the place. And when we do that, we have to understand that this is a big responsibility. It's something we as a society, we as the human race, must think about very, very carefully. Because imagine, people can hack your cell phone now. People can hack your computer. And it can be bad. They can steal your banking information, take all your money. They can steal your identity. But they can't really hurt you. In the future, though, if somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you. They could actually steal you. They can implant memories in your head that you don't have. They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled. Is this scary? So I painted on the hand a heaven, but there is also a hell, right?
Hi, Saints. So you just watched that video. Can you believe? So do you see what they're doing? And they only talk to you about, because they're going to come with this, because if you do not know, let me go over so I can put, I love to post articles and pictures, and because we come with the truth, so we always have to have proof, and we enjoy having proof. We don't have a problem with showing proof, right? So you guys should know by now, if you've been following me for a while, that Elon Musk is actually building these chips that go into the brain, right? He's actually building these chips, and guess what? They're in, they're in the testing stage, human trials. They're actually at that stage right now. So it's not something that, he's talking about that doesn't exist. It exists. What he's talking about exists. But what they do not tell you when they come to approach you, because this is how they're going to get people. They're going to say, oh, you'll be able to track your sugar, your pressure, if anything's wrong in your body. Just track any little thing and you'll be able to track your weight. You'll be able to track everything. But they won't tell you that they'll be able to track your everything. Your not only your every move, because as I showed in a video before, they're already tracking our every move, saints. They're already tracking our every move. Why? Because of these same smartphones that we have and that we carry everywhere with us. Some people have the smart fridges. They already know what you're eating. So certain things they already know, but to know your every thought, saints, to know every single detail down to your DNA, right? So they're gonna come and they're gonna sell it with all of those good stuff, as I just said, for healthcare, for your safety, for this, for that. But they're not gonna tell you if it's something like that you can share information and get someone's consciousness and their thoughts, right? They're not telling you that just as how the computers are hooked up to the internet and to the cloud and everything, and how they're hacked, how hasn't that been a concern? Why is that not presented? They won't tell you that part when they're selling this to the masses, not to us, because we know better than that. Because we read our Bibles, right? And we that's a no-no. You understand? They're not going to tell the people that are so blind and so obsessed with their own life and their own convenience that will be taking this, that, hey, side effect, or a con to this is that you may be hacked, your entire consciousness may be hacked, where someone can completely erase all your memories, your most precious moments. They're not they're not going to tell you that, us as the government, if we feel like you're acting out of line, just get you right back in line and turn you into a literal slave. Turn you into whatever they want to turn you into. Make you be whoever they want you to be. Because saints, when I was watching this video, this just reminded me of this Bible verse where they were building a tower, trying to reach to heaven, they wanted to be God themselves. They saw themselves so high that they thought they could build a tower to heaven. And what did the Most High do? Break it down. But guess what? He did that then. But you know what he's going to do now? He's going to come in glory. He's going to come. And that is why this will be the mark. Because instead of changing languages and turning people against people, we're already doing that ourselves. It's black against white. All right, saints, so I'm running out of space, but let me just close with this. No matter what, you who know better, know better. Amen. The word speaks of the way that we should go as believers is a narrow and lonely road. Your family will forsake you. Your children might forsake you. Your very partner might forsake you, because that's why it's important to marry equally yoked or to be equally yoked with someone. And a lot of people married unequally yoked. But guess what? We cannot linger on that. At the end of the day, equally yoked or not, you may find yourself being the only one awake with your eyes open, with the scales off. But guess what? As I keep on saying, you're going to be the only one in front of the Most High. So do not pay attention to that. It's a lonely and narrow road. The road to destruction is a broad road filled with every friend and family and acquaintances and popular people. But do not get distracted. Hold tight, hold your course, because we are in the end days. And every single time you see these things happening, do not feel fear, but look up, for our redemption joyeth nigh. I love you all, and the Most High loves you. I pray that his face shines on you and that he gives you his peace. Take care, saints. Bye.